The coffee cup slipped from her fingers and shattered across the diner floor. The sound was sharp, sudden, impossible to ignore. Emily froze, staring at the broken porcelain as if it might rearrange itself if she didn't move. Her hands trembled. A purple bruise bloomed beneath her left cheekbone, half hidden by makeup that had failed hours ago. The man at the counter noticed immediately. He noticed everything. Michael Cole did not rush to help. He stayed still, posture relaxed, eyes alert. Years of training had taught him the cost of sudden movement. At 39, he carried himself with quiet restraint, tall and broad-shouldered, dark hair cut short, silver just beginning at the edges. His face was calm, but his eyes were not. They watched Emily the way a storm watches land. At his feet, his German shepherd lay silent. Atlas was 7 years old, scarred along one ear, muscles coiled beneath thick black and tan fur. The dog lifted his head, nostrils flaring, reading the air. Emily flinched at the sound of his low breath and bent to clean the mess too quickly. "I'm fine," she said, voice thin. "I'm so sorry." Michael spoke gently. "You're not fine." The diner went quiet. Forks paused. Conversation stalled. No one turned fully toward them, but everyone listened. Emily's breath caught. Her eyes darted to the front window where a black SUV idled across the street, engine running. Fear crossed her face before she could stop it. "Please," she whispered. "Don't." Michael followed her glance without turning his head. He recognized the posture of men who believed they owned space. He lowered his voice. "That bruise wasn't an accident." Emily swallowed. 3 years of practiced lies pressed against her tongue. Doctors hadn't asked. Neighbors hadn't asked. The police drank coffee here with her husband. She had learned silence like a second language. "I dropped something at home," she said quickly. Michael held her gaze. "Someone hurt you." The words landed softly, and that made them dangerous. Emily's hands clenched. Tears welled despite her effort to stop them. She shook her head once, almost imperceptibly, begging him not to continue. Atlas shifted, body angling between her and the door, not threatening, just present. Emily noticed and exhaled without realizing she had been holding her breath. "I can't talk," she whispered. "You don't understand this town." Michael understood enough. He had seen fear rule places smaller than this, quieter than this. He had seen what happened when good people waited too long. Emily turned and fled into the kitchen. The diner slowly returned to noise, to pretending. Outside, the SUV revved. Michael did not touch his coffee. He stood, calm and deliberate. He wasn't leaving town today. Michael circled the block twice, letting the rhythm of the town reveal itself. Redwood Ridge moved slowly, comfortably, like a place convinced nothing truly bad could happen within its borders. The black SUV remained parked across from the diner longer than necessary. Michael drove past once, just slow enough. Local plates. Tinted windows. Atlas lifted his head, memorizing the scent. He parked near the river trail and walked back, hands in his jacket pockets, posture loose. Power, he'd learned, preferred not to be challenged directly. Liked to be watched first. Emily didn't reappear. The cook avoided his eyes. When Michael paid, he left extra cash under the saucer and said nothing. Outside, the SUV finally pulled away. Michael followed at a distance. It stopped at a sleek dealership with a polished glass front. Ridgeway Auto Group. Michael didn't need more. Names mattered in towns like this. He spent the next hour listening. On benches. In shops. In the spaces where people talked when they thought no one important cared. The same names surfaced repeatedly. Daniel Ridgeway. Sponsor. Donor. Civic leader. A man described with admiration that felt rehearsed. That evening, Michael knocked once on Emily's motel door. When it cracked open, she stood behind the chain, eyes wide. The bruise looked darker in the dim light. She wore an oversized sweater, sleeves hiding her wrists. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered. "He'll know." Michael kept his hands visible. Atlas sat calmly beside him. "I won't stay." She hesitated, then unlatched the chain. The room smelled of antiseptic. Emily moved like someone who packed often, fast and quiet. "He tracks my phone," she said. "I know." She closed her eyes, then nodded. "Yes. He's done this before." Her voice flattened as she spoke. She had tried to leave twice. Once to a sister. Once to a shelter. He always found her. Always arrived with papers and smiling officers. She held up her hand. Her wedding ring glinted faintly. Security, he'd called it. Atlas stiffened. Michael studied the ring carefully. He didn't touch it yet. "We'll take it off later," he said. A sound in the hallway made Emily flinch. Michael left without promises. He never made those. The next morning he spoke to the cook behind the diner. Miguel admitted what everyone knew and no one said. Daniel owned the town without owning it on paper. Complaints vanished. Women disappeared. That afternoon, Michael watched Daniel grip Emily's elbow as he picked her up. The smile he wore in public dissolved once they turned away. Michael waited. He always waited until waiting became the wrong choice. That night he returned with tools. Michael removed the ring carefully in the motel bathroom. Emily's hands shook as the band hit the sink. Under the blade's edge, the seam revealed itself. The tracking chip cracked beneath his heel with a quiet final sound. Emily inhaled sharply, then laughed once, disbelieving. "It's quiet," she whispered. They worked fast. Emily retrieved the evidence she'd hidden for years. Photos. Hospital records. A small recorder. Daniel's voice filled the room, calm, threatening, certain of ownership. Emily stopped it before it ended. Michael copied everything onto encrypted drives. Atlas pressed against Emily's leg, grounding her. She rested a hand on his head, steady now. They left before dawn, taking back roads to a feed store outside town. Sarah Collins met them with a shotgun and calm eyes. She didn't ask many questions. She didn't need to. By afternoon, Daniel arrived alone. He stepped from his car like a man settling a misunderstanding. His smile never reached his eyes. "Come home," he said to Emily. Michael stepped forward. Atlas shifted, silent and coiled. Daniel drew the gun smoothly. Confidence wavered as he turned it toward Michael. Atlas launched. The shot went wide. Glass shattered. Michael was already moving, driving Daniel to the ground, twisting the weapon away. Daniel fought wildly and used to resistance. Atlas held the sleeve, not flesh, trained and precise. Sirens arrived fast. Too fast to be coincidence. Deputies poured out, confusion giving way to hesitation. Daniel shouted. Emily stepped forward. "He threatened to kill me," she said clearly. "I have proof. Names. Dates. Words spoken in private." One deputy, younger than the rest, nodded once. The gun lay visible on the gravel. Daniel was cuffed, still convinced this would be undone. It wasn't. By morning the past surfaced. Another woman. A buried case. A riverbank that gave up its truth. Federal agents arrived. Paperwork stacked. Power collapsed quietly. Emily watched it happen without shaking. Justice didn't roar. It settled. Winter came softly to Redwood Ridge. Snow covered old tracks without erasing them. Daniel Ridgway was sentenced under gray courthouse light. Life without parole. No speeches. No drama. Emily closed her eyes and breathed as if setting something heavy down. Michael stood at the back. Atlas lay at his feet. 2 weeks later, Emily packed a small house provided through relocation. She moved carefully but freely. When the bus pulled away, she didn't look back. The town changed slowly. People spoke more. Looked longer. Silence lost its comfort. Michael returned to the diner once more. The cook poured his coffee without asking. Atlas lay at his feet. "You passing through?" the man asked. "Yeah," Michael said. He drove out before noon. The road ahead clean and white. Sometimes miracles come quietly. As a question. As a refusal to look away.